our third segment here with Preston from Trash Talk Tailgate. We're going to be discussing Miami versus Florida State, which 70th time they've ever met, and a game that I think for the most part is going to be really intriguing matchup for a number of different reasons. I think both these teams have really explosive offenses. You have Miami, whose defense has really kind of come together. And most importantly, I'd probably argue that Miami is probably one of the most complete teams in the country. But Preston, real quick, you want to talk about Trash Talk Tailgate and how viewers can find you as well and what you talk about.
Yeah, so I'm a former Division I college football coach. I've coached at the highest levels of football as a defensive backs coach and as a defensive assistant, as a quality control. So I feel like I know football better than most people. And I love to talk about football. So if you want to come talk about football with us, come see us at the Trash Talk Tailgate. We do 3 live streams on YouTube. We've got our Sunday 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time college football wrap-up show where we talk about all the college football action from Saturday. Our NFL recap is Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, where we talk about all the NFL action that just happened. And then our Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time prediction stream, which is where we get you ready for all of the football action for the following weekend. So that's always a great time. If you love talking college football and you want real expert analysis, the Trash Talk Tailgate is the place for you. And if you want to come talk shit to us, please, we welcome it. If you think you know ball better than me, someone who's actually lived it and breathed it my whole life, come talk shit to me. I don't care. Yeah. So come join the tailgate. We are on Trash Talk Tailgate on all social media platforms, Trash Talk Tailgate on YouTube. Come check us out, man. Look forward to it.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that with everybody. And, I could definitely attest for this, how hard you've been working, how much you've been grinding throughout the season. So definitely give them a listen, and I'll put all your socials and the link to your YouTube as well in the bio of the video. But Preston, we talked about this off camera in terms of Miami Florida State game, and sounded like to me that you were pretty opinionated about this game one way or the other. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on the game and exactly what some key matchups you're looking for here.
I'm not opinionated on the game. I mean, I do have opinions on the game, but I just want to first say this. Danny Cannell, you're fucking stupid. Danny Cannell went on Twitter when College Game Day announced that they were going to go to the Vanderbilt-Alabama game instead of the Miami-Florida State game. Danny Cannell was like, oh, see, we knew they hated us, but now it's just proof that they hate us. Always playing the victim as a Florida State guy. Oh, ESPN hates Florida State. I get it. If you wanted Game Day to go to the game, don't lose to Virginia. This would have been a top 10 matchup. All you had to do was not blow it to Virginia. Catch the touchdown pass in overtime to beat Virginia. That's all you have to do. So you don't get the bitch about ESPN is going to a game with Vanderbilt and Alabama, a revenge factor. This could have been a top 10 matchup, but Florida State had to blow it to an unranked Virginia team at the time. So that's what I had to say about that. Shout out Danny Cannell. You really pissed me off. But yeah, I'm excited for this game, man. This is still going to be a great game. Obviously, it's a huge rivalry game. There's a lot of history and a lot of bad blood between these two programs. Like, this is what makes college football so special, is these rivalry games. And I'm really glad that in all of the conference realignment where we've lost a lot of really great rivalries, this is one that we continue to get every single year. It's one of the best rivalries in the sport. But I think the key to this game is I think Florida State is going to have to go tempo. They're going to have to try to hit some explosive plays with Tommy Castellanos. And, with this option game, kind of like with Vanderbilt, like we talked about earlier, like this Florida State, Gus Malzahn option, run game that they like to run, trying to hit quarterback explosives, trying to get the defense out of position and not be disciplined in their run fits. Miami hasn't played a dual threat quarterback like this. CJ Carr is not that mobile. It's just, DJ Lagway was hurt and he was kind of immobile when they played him. So I think this is going to be a huge test for Miami. Can they be disciplined in their run fits? If you're Florida State, I feel like you have to kind of go tempo, try to get them, on their heels a little bit, because Florida State, they don't have the personnel to just beat them straight up. Miami has the best lines of scrimmage on offense and defense in the country. Miami has the best bubs in the entire country. And for those of you that don't know, a bub is a big, ugly bastard. And those are what you need to win football games. That's Mario Cristobal is an elite level recruiter. Mike Norvell is not that great at recruiting. He uses the transfer portal a lot more than he probably should at a program like Florida State. But Mario Cristobal has elite level bubs on the lines of scrimmage. Big, ugly bastards. And if Miami can just turn this into a straight drop back game from Tommy Castellanos, I think Miami is going to win pretty comfortably. But if Florida State can get them on their heels with tempo and, using that kind of spread option stuff with Gus Malzahn, Gus is going to have some tricks up his sleeve. He always does for games like this. I think Florida State can hang with Miami. But Miami straight up, they're just going to lean on you. They're just better. They're better up front, And then the other thing is Miami's defense, they're really, really good. They allow 11.5 points per game. And they played some tough competition. They obviously played Notre Dame. They played Florida. They played USF. So, and the other thing is Mark Fletcher, Miami's running back, averages almost 6 yards a carry. That's absurd. They're really good up front, man, and they're just if this game is played straight up, Miami's gonna win probably pretty comfortably. Florida State's only shot is to go tempo and to try to get that defense on their heels and try to make this a shootout. Because if you force Tommy Castellanos to play drop back, it's gonna get ugly. He can't throw the ball consistently. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean the only thing I'll push back on to a degree is, do I think Tommy Castellanos is a pocket passer and is throwing dimes left and right? I'm not saying that, but I think he does deserve some credit for some of the throws that he made in the Alabama game and also late into the Virginia game as well. So I do think there is some opportunity if for example, Florida State can really, exactly what you said, Florida State get that tempo going. You really get Miami to bring that front seven up. And even if you can just get a couple plays like that, I think there is a real opportunity for Florida State to kind of run with it too. I mean, there's a reason why Florida State is averaging over 50 points a game. I mean, they're one of the best rushing attacks that we've seen. But at the same time too, exactly what you mentioned, Miami, at least to me, and I did talk about this on podcast last week, to me, they're the most complete team in the country. And also they had a whole week to prepare for this game too. So that also, say what you will about them traveling on the road, which I think is going to be really good for Carson Beck going later to the season. But when push comes to shove, when you have the most complete team in the country, when you have a completely revamped defense, particularly the linebacking core, and they're going to have to step up in a big way because you can't allow Castellanos to break tackles. And you really have to, if I'm Miami, I'm going to make sure I have a spy 70, 80% of the time on him to make sure that he can't go out of the pocket, to make sure you're reading his eyes. And most importantly, just having the right personnel out there, because Gus Malzahn is going to sit there, and any opportunity that he thinks that we're at his disadvantage, he's going to be go, go, go. And whether or not that benefits them, I mean, push comes to shove, we'll see, but I think he made a lot of good points there, and I definitely agree with the majority of it.
I think, like I said, Miami, they haven't played a dual threat quarterback. Florida State, they're going to be an 11-man run game team. In Miami, you have to be disciplined. Miami is going to have to be disciplined in their run fits. And that's going to be a huge part of this game, because if they're not disciplined, and if they give up a gap, or if they overextend, or if they're not in their right fits, Florida State's going to gash you. Like, they're going to hit explosive plays, and that's what I think Florida State needs to do to stay in this game. They need to hit explosive plays, especially in the run game. They averaged 336 rushing yards per game, which is second in the country. So yeah, it's just. And then the other thing to me is Ruben Bain finally healthy? If Ruben Bain is fully healthy, he is a difference maker on the lines of scrimmage. Like, he is a complete and total game wrecker. He's gonna be a top 5 pick potentially in the NFL. So it just, yeah. I think Florida State's only chance is to go tempo, try to hit explosives, get Miami out of their comfort zone. Let Tommy run the ball, get them going really fast. Because like I said, if Miami can just play this straight up and force them to throw the ball, they're gonna lean on them. And then the other thing is, I think Miami, they're gonna be able to run the ball pretty well to keep that Florida State offense off the field. Just kill clock and just and keep Tommy Castellanos and Gus Malzahn and that Gus Malzahn offense off the field. Because, like I said, Mark Fletcher averages 6 yards a carry, which is ridiculous. So I think, because Florida State, they don't have the personnel to keep up with Miami. Like, they can't bang with Miami for 60 minutes consistently. They're just going to lean on you at some point. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That all makes a lot of sense too. And obviously I think they're going to utilize Fletcher a lot more than I think people anticipate too. I don't think this is going to be a type of game where they're going to expect Carson Beck to throw 30, 40 times. This is going to be a game where he's going to be max throwing 20 to 25 times, if that really. Mm-hmm. But the only other thing I'll mention too, in terms of just this overall matchup, is just the implications in terms of not only in-state recruiting for Florida, but also in terms of the ACC. So, I mean, think about it. I mean, I know I was sitting here talking 2 months ago how I thought Clemson was gonna win the ACC, and now that they're pretty much out of the picture, I mean, I look at this matchup and I say, hey, this is probably a precursor in terms of who could be representing the ACC in the college football playoff. Because when I look at Miami's schedule for the rest of the year, outside of Louisville, who I think will probably be ranked by the time they play them, they don't play any other ranked teams this year. So if they take care of business and win those games, I think Miami's in a really good position in terms of the rest of the year, assuming that Ruben Bain continues to stay healthy, Carson Beck doesn't take too many hits, and they continue to play complimentary football.
That's always the worry with Miami, especially under Mario Cristobal, because they've always had elite level talent, and Mario has just raised the ceiling even further. But the question has always been, can Miami finally put it all together? And can they just take care of the games they're supposed to? Can they take care of business? They were supposed to be in the ACC championship game last year. Then they blew it to Syracuse and opened the door for Clemson. So it's just, this looks like the best Miami team I've seen under Mario. But the question still remains, are they going to drop one that they just absolutely should not? I just don't know if I can trust them to run the table at this point.
Yeah, because Miami has exactly what you said. Miami has all the momentum in the world right now. And also Mike Norvell deserves a hell of a lot of credit for the transformation that they've kind of gone through. Even though, yes, they had to rely on the transfer portal just because of the situation that they're in. But for him to kind of have that poise and, especially too, I was a little reluctant initially when they brought in Castellanos. I was like, you know what? I watched him a little bit at Boston College, and you can definitely see the upside in him. But for him to really kind of step up in that big moment versus Alabama and really just kind of run with it, even if Florida State loses by 14 or 21 this week, I mean, they definitely deserve a lot of credit for what they've done, and it's definitely a program that's going to be heading in the right direction. Not a team that I'm going to be too worried about moving forward either.
They need to recruit better, especially in the state of Florida. Like your Florida State, you shouldn't be relying that much on the transfer portal year to year, because we saw what happens last year. Like if the bottom falls out, it'll fucking crater.